This is Her Inner Demons by Extradimensional Alien. Some water. Sunny Flares said, I don't get it! Not sure I understand you. Indigo Zap looked pointedly at her classmate and fellow Shadowbolt. You're being extremely vague right now, which prevents us from understanding what it is that you fail to understand. Sugarcoat added in her trademark blunt manner. Sugarcoat. Still as much of an ass as I remember. Oh, wait, that's right. You still haven't watched Friendship Games, have you?
As far as I know, they were all fucking nasty to Twilight, so.
Oh, it's fine, girls. Sour Sweet joined the conversation, her voice saccharine sweet. It's a usual thinking face, which reminds me of constipations. She finished with an unpleasant tone, earning herself a glare from Sunny and others for bringing up the topic one is not supposed to talk about when someone is eating.
Now I'm thinking about that one clip that I posted on my old channel.
Oh yeah! Lemon Zest butted in unexpectedly. Looking at her bobbing her head with her headphones in their usual place, the other girls concluded that her remark had nothing to do with them talking. Can't get enough of that metal. The Shadowbolts were sitting in the cafeteria of Crystal Prep Academy, enjoying their lunch before a new round of lessons started. No one else was sitting at the same table besides them, allowing them a certain amount of privacy, as much as one could get in a public eating place, and a possibility to discuss something not related to school curriculum. I wonder what that could be.
Let's read.
Today, this something not related to the school curriculum was Twilight Sparkle, Sunny Flare spoke up. Could you be more specific? Sugarcoat spoke again. Well, Twilight and the last event of the Friendship Games. The one where she turned into a power-crazed maniac bent on destroying this world as to get more magic from the other one? Precisely.
Kind of like how things went in the first film. Ish?
An uncomfortable silence hung over their table. Knowing that they themselves had a part in that very thing happening still weighed heavily on the consciousness of everyone present. Seeking their classmate to release the anomalous energy, simply dubbed as magic, that she had contained within a self-made device, had nearly resulted in catastrophic sequences for both them and the students of Canterlot High, if not the whole world. For some students, it could even have been fatal.
Wow. Well, we never had much death on My Little Pony.
Yeah. In retrospect, every one of them agreed that it was the most stupid thing they have ever done, and since no one of them liked feeling stupid, they decided to be more careful from then on. Adoy!
Well, they better. Otherwise, things are going to backfire, and they're not going to be in school. Hell, they're not even going to be in this plane of existence.
Yeah, seriously, you're the fuckers who egged Midnight on in the first place. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Ironically, if not for Twilight Sparkle turning into a she-demon, the rivalry between Canterlot High School and Crystal Prep Academy would not have subsided at all. But once some students of CHS risked their lives to save some of Crystal Preppers from falling into a dimensional rift into their deaths, well, there you go then. And the Shadowbolts returned the favor, both groups became united in putting the blame on Principal Abacus Cinch, who was blackmailing Twilight and was just as guilty in her demonic transformation, if not more so, as the Shadowbolts themselves, all for preserving her precious reputation.
Wow. I was hoping she'd be going to jail. Did she even go to jail in the movie?
I only know she rage quit from getting one up by all of the principals of Canterlot High and Dean Cadence.
She should have gone to jail.
If only. And once Principal Celestia had declared both groups winners, the tensions between schools became less pronounced. Of course, there was still some competitiveness between two schools. Canterlot High was slowly creeping up in the ratings, already overtaking some privately owned schools and getting closer to Crystal Prep. Some students would still challenge each other, but it was done in a more friendly way. And not everyone from CHS forgot about their losing streak, as well as some CPA students did not forget about their winning one. But everyone was still getting along better. Especially once Pinkie Pie threw another party of her own in the CHS gym. And Digital Railroader has the right idea. Your school is bad and you should feel bad!
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Sorry, I need to turn my air conditioner up. It's presently warm in here.
That's okay. Hopefully, it's supposed to fall, but it still feels like summer. We're supposed to go into a cooling trend over the next week.
Anyways, speaking of Twilight, Indigo Zap spoke again. Has anyone heard from her? Sunny Flare answered. Her transfer papers have been finalized. Principal Cinch wasn't amused about it, but she didn't have any legal ground to prevent that from happening. Sure, her parents didn't get the refund, as per the terms of contract, but once Twilight Velvet and Nightlight, that's her mom and dad respectively, were sure that Twilight did not want to be here anymore, and that those girls at CHS were making her very happy, they didn't care in the slightest. So apparently, Twilight's parents exist in the human world, as Midnight's parents, no less.
And not only that, they were going right well along with letting Twilight leave this horrible fucking academy.
And evidently they're also okay with the fact their daughter turned into a motherfucking demon.
No, so she's moving from the school, so hopefully that shit won't happen again. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Anyways, Sour Sweet interjected. I only hope that Shining Armor doesn't find out the true reason, because if he does, we're all screwed!
Wait, are they have a crush on Shining Armor, I wonder?
No, remember, Dean Cadence and Shining Armor were at the school, and Twilight was still brothers with him. Or Midnight, in this case.
Huh.
No one wanted to comment on that. Everyone knew how protective Shining Armor was of Twilight. She only needed to drop a word to her big brother best friend forever, and woe betide anyone caught in his wrath.
Ooh, that explains a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. Sugarcoat returned the conversation back on track. That said, you mentioned you didn't understand something about her. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding, Sugarcoat. Yes, there is one thing. Everyone, even Lemon Zest, leaned forward to listen. Why did Twilight turn into that demoness?
I can think of a few choices. And they're right at this table right now.
Let's find out. Everyone looked between themselves, eyes widened a bit. Indigo spoke. All right, I didn't expect that. Seriously? Sunny rounded on her. None of you were shocked in the slightest? No one managed to find a good answer. Sunny facepalm. Ugh! Fine. Let me tell you something in detail. I talked with Sunset Shimmer about a bit. Remember her mentioning how she made the same mistake as Twilight? Well, I was curious and asked her about that, and she revealed something. Earlier, almost a year ago, Sunset was not the person she is now. In fact, she was a total opposite. She was primarily concerned with having power and becoming the top student in the food chain, and once she did achieve that position, she did everything to maintain her status quo, and her methods were not unlike some of the brutal Crystal Preppers would have used. Blackmail, taking embarrassing photos and videos and then posting them on the internet, she did all of that. Moreover, she told me she did everything to disorganize any possible resistance, isolating student groups from each other and even going as far as breaking the circle of friends she actually hangs around with now. Yeah.
So basically all of the events of the first movie.
Pretty much. You're joshing me, Indigo spoke up. No, I asked your other friends via my stable and...
My stable? Do you think we wouldn't have any horse puns?
So apparently MySpace exists in the... Is MySpace even a fucking relevant thing anymore?
Well, I think it's still up, but nobody fucking uses it much.
Well, shucks. She would have made a fine Crystal Prepper with such qualities, that's for sure. Provided she found a way to circumvent the influence of the richer ones. How come she did a turnaround then? Sugarcoat raised an eyebrow. The story goes on into a weirder area, but it's not too implausible given what we had seen. Remember the dimensional rifts? It appears they led to a land where Sunset Shimmer actually came from, and more than that, apparently each human here is a counterpart there, in the form of ponies. We didn't hallucinate when we saw them in the dimensional rifts. Twilight's pony counterpart came to this world in order to retrieve an artifact that Sunset had stolen but managed to lose, and stumbled onto that very group, which by chance consisted of her friend's counterparts. She managed to mend the bridges between them, but Shimmer got her hands on the artifact and tried using it as she had wanted to. However, it led to her becoming a she-demon herself. Twilight and the others defeated her with their own magic of friendship, and this allowed her to step onto the path of redemption. Okay, then.
That's one way of putting the events of the first season into a nice little Reader's Digest version.
First Equestria Girls, you mean?
Yeah.
Sour Sweet spoke up. Ooh, it sounds like a fairy tale. Except that fairy tales don't happen in real life.
Huh, that explain what happened. Huh?
Indigo Zap asked again. And then they accepted Sunset Shimmer as a friend? Oh, they had rough patches, but yes, they eventually did. And even other students at CHS have apparently forgiven her. Sunny Flare intertwined her fingers. However, this is Sunset Shimmer we're talking about. Given the type of person she had been before, I don't find it implausible that her interaction with magic would result in her getting a demonic form, but this doesn't explain why Twilight Sparkle, of all people, turned into a she-demon, since she has never been as callous or ruthless or manipulative as Sunset Shimmer had been, Sugarcoat interrupted. You hit the proverbial nail, Sugarcoat. It doesn't. Each and every Shadow Bolt sitting at the table instantly gained a thinking expression. Before they could ponder too much on it, however, Indigo Zap looked at her watch and gasped. Girls, break's almost over. Finish your food and we'll talk about it later. So, any ideas? Sugarcoat inquired, as the Shadow Five, as someone had nicknamed them, made their way out of Crystal Prep premises. Shadow Five, really?
Well, they were awfully evil.
I'm gonna get a shitload of comments about that name alone because of who we're talking about here.
I doubt it.
On what? The reasons behind Twilight going all dark and demonic? Lemon Zest replied. Precisely. I've thought a bit, and I have come to one conclusion. Oh, how nice! Except that I don't think it's gonna be useful! Sour Sweet began sweetly and ended sourly as usual. And that reason? The reason is magic!
We're gonna need a lot more specifics.
Everyone stared at the rocker girl. A shell-shocking silence hung in the air between them. Just a note of reference, there are a few grammatical errors here and there, if you hadn't noticed. Whatever. It appears that when you said a bit, you literally meant a bit, Lemon, Sugarcoat said in a usual flat tone. Duh! Of course I did! Lemon grinned wildly. Every other girl felt an impulse to facepalm at the acid-haired girl's antics, but old instincts flared up and they held their urges in check. Sour Sweet had a vindicated expression on her face. Anyone else aside from Lemon Zest? Sugarcoat continued. A chorus of no and nuh-uh answered her. Well, they're clueless. Totally no idea, Indigo Zap said. I can't come to a definite conclusion, Sunny Flare replied. Twilight was a lot nicer than Sunset, albeit a doormat, and so I have no idea, Sour Sweet finished. Everyone looked at Sugarcoat. I failed to find a logical answer to that too. I suggest we try and gather additional data. You were saying?
Don't you think that comment would have they would have noticed that maybe it's because of them? I mean, they literally called her a doormat in the same fucking breath.
I failed to find a logical answer to that too. I suggest we try and gather additional data. Where? Sunny inquired. From Twilight herself. What?
Oh boy. I wonder how this is gonna go.
Indigo almost dropped her jaw. Are you nuts? I'm no expert, but holy guacamole, that's kind of too blunt, even for you, Sugarcoat. Too blunt, really?
So blunt.
Do you have an alternate source in mind? Well, can't we ask those rainbooms? Aside from Sunset Shimmer, no one has had an experience similar to Twilight's, and even Shimmer herself could not explain the reason, correct? At the latest words, Sugarcoat turned to Sunnyflare. Well, yeah. Well, once Sunset told me her own story, I asked her about that, and she said she had no definite idea. Still, I'm not sure about that approaching Twilight directly is a good idea. Maybe we should speak with the other Rainbooms first? Where and how? They go to a place called Sugar Cube Corner after school, as far as I know. Maybe we can find them there? All in favor of going to Sugar Cube Corner? Everyone nodded. Good. Now let's go uncover this mystery.
They're gonna have to figure it out, then the answer lies right underneath their noses.
Wait for it.
Oxymoron much. So with the blunt comment.
Alright. Is it just me, or am I seeing two Twilights in there? Whoop. Oh, so our Princess Twilight is apparently in this too. I guess she really she really quickly got over the fact that there's another her existed in this world.
Huh. I mean, I think I saw a comic similar to that, and then Sidetwi freaked out at first.
Well, and we also did read that Love Triangles fic where... I'm sorry, I had to bring that up.
Oh, but I think this will be a different matter than just two Twilights just clamoring for the love of a Sunset Shimmer.
Alright. Sunnyflare was dangerously close to losing her job, but no Crystal Prepper had been caught in such a position previously, in public at least, and she was not about to start. I see them too, Indigo Zap scratched her head. No, it's some hallucinogenic drugs in her food, right? Let me just spoke up.
Wow, we went straight to hallucinogenic drugs. Wow.
Smoke weed every day.
No, we're talking a little bit of acid.
Sugarcoat deadpanned. This would be a punishable offense, but besides, the chances of us suffering the same hallucination, excuse me, the chances of us suffering the same hallucination would have been minimal. And Sour Sweet finished with, oh, it's so nice to know, Sugarcoat, but it doesn't explain why there are two Twilights! Hi, girls. Twilight, the one in glass and Crystal Prep uniform, spoke up and waved. Unsurely, the Rainbooms and the other Twilight, who was dressed in a light blue blouse and a violet skirt along with high boots and similar clothing, stared at the Shuttlebolt, puzzled. Hello, Twilight, Sugarcoat answered her. How do you do? Fine, thanks, I guess. What about you girls? We're fine, too. Oh, yeah! Lemon just bobbed her head and heard some sound ringing from her headphones. Again.
What the hell is she listening to? Fucking Motley Crue or something?
I was thinking here
there must be some fucking epic music that she's listening to.
Case in point. Also, the second Twilight here, is she... Yes, I'm Twilight's counterpart from an alternate world, or out of town, as we call it around others. A Twilight in a blouse and a skirt spoke up.
Pony Twi. Let's call her that.
Sunset Shimmer spoke up. Meet Her Highness, Princess of Friendship, Twilight Sparkle. Twilight, meet Indigo Zap, Sour Sweet, Sugarcoat, Sunnyflare, and Lemon Zest. Every one of the Shadowbolts nodded and Lemon waved instead. The students of Crystal Prep Academy, and until recently, are rivals at the Friendship Games. I'm still baffled at how similar things in our world can be so different, Princess Twilight muttered. In Equestria, we have a Crystal Empire, and it's not a rival of any means, and it's ruled by Princess Cadence. Wait! Human Twilight interrupted, wide-eyed. Dean Cadence is a princess there? All the other Shadowbolts also were surprised, and now listened with attention. Yes, and she also was my full sitter, or how you call it here, child sitter?
Babysitter.
Babysitter, yep. Oh, right. And I can't recall hearing about anyone named Abacus Cinch back there. Talk about multiverse theory, Sunnyflare muttered. Weird does not even do it justice. So you are a princess, Sugarcoat just addressed Princess Twilight. Do we need to bow or call you Your Highness or follow some other etiquette? It's not necessary, Twilight blushed a bit. My title extends only to my world, and even then, I'm not that inclined on ceremonial greetings and stuff. Just call me Twilight. Then how are we to stop confusing you two? Oh boy.
Oh, how can we? I wonder if there's going to be a random person coming out in the middle of nowhere.
Pinkie Pie, the ever-energetic pink-haired and pink-skinned girl who could give Lemon Zest a run for her money in fun department, exclaimed cheerfully, "Oh, maybe we can give nicknames! I've already made up some nicknames! We'll call Pony Twilight Magic Twi, and this world's Twilight Sci Twi!" There you go.
Huh? Well, it's almost the same, except we wouldn't need the magic twi.
Anyways, the party girl finished her sentence with a face-splitting grin and a squee sound. 12 pairs of eyes gave the party girl blank looks. Pony Twilight spoke quietly. On second thought, just call me Princess.
Might as well.
Everyone agreed with a mm-hmm. We go with yep. Yep.
All right, let's go.
Sunset spoke up. Not to sound unfriendly, but your appearance was unanticipated. It was a spur-of-the-moment decision, Sunnyflare agreed. We wanted to ask a couple of questions, although I'm not sure now is the right time. What kind of questions? Applejack inquired. Sunset's face showed that she already guessed what kind of questions the Shadow Bolts had in mind. Questions about Twilight. Our Twilight, that is. I knew it, Sunset thought. Is this related to the talk that I had with you earlier, Sunny? Directly, Sugarcoat interjected. What talk? Human Twilight asked. Oh boy. Guess we gotta break it to her.
Let's break it now.
Sunset sighed and laid it out. Sunnyflare was perplexed as to why you turned into your corrupted form after unleashing the magic from your device. She heard that I had a similar experience and asked me about it. I told her everything about what kind of person I used to be, and then she asked me about your own transformation, but I failed to provide the answer. You see, Twilight, Sunnyflare took over, when compared to Sunset Shimmer before our turnaround, you never came across as, well, villainy? Pinkie interjected. Every Shadow Bolt stared at her perplexed until Lemon Zest emitted a laugh. Ha ha! Good one, Pinkie!
So she was kind of paying attention.
Supposedly.
Everyone
gave her a seriously look, which she promptly ignored. Sunny sighed and continued. Yes, to borrow Pinkie Pie's grammatically not-so-correct word, villainy. You've never bullied, belittled, blackmailed, or tormented anyone. In fact, you were on the opposite side, so to speak. You've always been an intelligent, very intelligent, but shy girl who never enjoyed the power struggle and never even tried to hinder one's progress. From what I've gathered, the magic somehow interacted negatively with Sunset and you and your respective transformations, and that doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe you should have looked in that. Maybe you should have looked into that sentence on the opposite side. She wasn't the one doing the bullying, the blackmailing, and the tormenting. She was on the receiving end.
Pretty much.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's probably what the answer will be. That's what they're going to be finding.
I guess $10 says it is.
Well, I have a PayPal.
Neither it does to me, to be honest, Princess Twilight spoke up. Magic is very closely related to mind and personality, and whatever happens with its involvement is closely connected to intent, as well as general personality, When Sunset put on the crown containing the element of magic, a powerful arcane artifact, her main defining characteristic was lust for power, and in quest for power, she did various things that would not be approved of. And most importantly, she had no friends. Seeking friendship is weakness. With no positive influence of friends, the element of magic amplified her negative parts into the max, while almost fully suppressing her positive ones, giving her her demonic form.
So far, so good. Continue.
Everyone, even human Twilight, readily absorbed the information about magic. You, the Princess addressed her counterpart, also lacked friends and thought it would be better to be alone. While an important aspect, this by itself is not enough to result in such a consequence, and being a shy bookworm certainly doesn't warrant the demon form automatically. While you were obsessed with finding out about magic, you never sought to deliberately hurt anyone, which can't mark you as villainy enough. So there's a missing X in the equation. And you want me to provide it? Human Twilight turned to the Shadow Bolts. While no one gave a clear answer, she still saw the barely masked curiosity in their eyes and cast down her head, which was not unnoticed by everyone else. Ladies, Rarity spoke in her prim and proper voice, while curiosity is not a sin, I believe that such a request would surely be insensitive. If Twilight doesn't want to talk about it, we won't pry further and we'll leave immediately. Sunny Flare raised at one hand as a sign of sincerity. Y'all better live up to that promise. Applejack spoke up with a country drawl that almost grated on the Shadow Bolt's ears, except Lemon, since they were protected by headphones.
Oh, come on. She's a cute Southern gal.
What now?
She was a cute Southern gal.
Anyways. Besides, didn't you pressure Twilight into releasing all the magic in the name of victory in the friendship games? Rainbow Dash pointed an accusing finger at the Crystal Preppers. The latter had the decency to look guilty and or embarrassed. Uh-huh. Girls, Fluttershy spoke meekly, let's not fight. You're making Twilight uncomfortable. Indeed, human Twilight was hugging herself tight now, emotional torment visible on her face. Aww. Poor kid. Told you it would be too blunt, Sugarcoat, Indigo Zap whispered. I did not anticipate Twilight's presence here. The plans tend to be torn down by reality sometimes, Sugarcoat whispered back. Turning to the Rainboom, she said, Thank you for listening to us. We will abstain from further inquiries, and turned around intending to leave. Wait! Huh? Everyone was surprised to see human Twilight say that. I wanted to admit this anyway. I think it's better that they hear about it too. Are you sure, darling? Rarity spoke up. Pretty sure. Well, y'all heard the ladies, Applejack said. So come on, sit. It took the Shadow Bolts a lot not to wince at the country girl's accent. Oh, cool! Can we have a party later? Pinky jumped into place while sitting, which, according to all Crystal Prep girls, defied the laws of physics. They had experienced Pinky's antics before. Just how did the pink girl make a cake with Mona Lisa portrait inside? But we're still not used to it.
We can't. Pinkie Pie, we can't put any logic in her. It's pointless. We couldn't.
Because Pinkie Pie.
We gave up. I gave up on it. But there's no way.
Anyways. We'll think about it later. Thanks. Sour Sweet spoke up, and then whispered, But if it ends up with me getting cavity or diabetes, I'm sending her the medical bill. If someone did hear her, they paid her no heed.
Shut up, Sour Sweet. Nobody cares.
You're the definition of a Sour Patch Kid. Get the fuck used to it.
Okay, let's listen.
10 minutes later. So, none of you had believed I would be capable of being evil? Human Twilight asked Shadow Bolts, receiving a plethora of no answers. Trust us, darling, it was quite a shock to us, too, Rarity spoke up. Especially since you were genuinely distressed earlier when Sunset got Oh! Wrong voice. Especially since you were genuinely distressed earlier when Sunset got angry at you. Fluttershy butted in, making the fiery-haired girl wince. Not one of my best moments, the latter muttered. Uh-huh. I think Sunset overreacted partially because of unleashed magic putting others in danger, and partially because of the very fact that Twilight's device was absorbing magic, Princess Twilight spoke. For a unicorn in Equestria, magic is an essential part of life, and losing it for probably forever is a fate that any unicorn would consider worse than death.
Oh, come on. Ask Applejack. She did nothing with magic all her life. Look how well she does.
Oh, true. Sunset is a human now. Here we don't usually have magic, Sugarcoat pointed out. Have you forgotten the fact that they can pony up? Has that detail screwed over you?
So it seems sugarcoat is just more science than magic. If
True.
this is it.
True, but old habits die hard, I think. I myself feel uncomfortable without being able to harness magic at will. I walked face first into a door once because I was used to opening doors with magic. Again, all I
Face
was
to
made a
the
fish out
door.
of water.
Face to door. It was very hilarious.
Yes. The other girls failed to hide the mirth in their eyes, which Princess Twilight decided to ignore. Back on track, Sunnyflare spoke. No, none of us believed you capable of that, Twilight. Was there something inside of you that could have influenced you negatively? Silence reigned for almost a minute while human Twilight was self-searching for an answer. And she finally answered, yes. Oh. So there is something more at play here. Spill it!
Jesus!
Suddenly, Pinkie Pie's face was everything she could see, and she heard a clatter of her cup. There's nothing to spill. The cup is empty, Sugarcoat said. Everyone stared at the spectacle girl in silence before Pinkie slapped the blunt as an axe hard on the shoulder and exclaimed, "Good one, Sugarcoat!" Everyone at the table laughed. Wow, Sugarcoat told a joke, Sour Sweet spoke, and then frowned. The end of the world is coming. We're doomed!
Oh, come on.
Both Twilight spoke at the same time. That statement is a logical fallacy. Everyone laughed again, with two twins being the last one to join in. And people complain about my in-your-face antics, Inigo Zap grumbled. How come Pinkie gets a free pass? Rainbow Dash answered, and here you go. She's Pinkie Pie. There is no other answer. Believe me, we've tried to find one, haven't succeeded.
There is no fucking way.
Because Pinkie Pie.
Let's go on.
Fine. So, Twilight, your story? Are you sure you want to hear it? It doesn't really paint you in good lights, Human Twilight mumbled, unsure. Do it. I think we had this coming. Well, okay. And Twilight began her story. Unlike many people in Crystal Prep, I didn't get there on money alone. I was noticed by Principal Cinch when I was participating in a local academic decathlon by my old school. Say what you will about her, but she has an eye for talent. On seeing my performance, where I even beat some of her students, she came up with my parents and offered them to consider sending me there, even offering a scholarship. Ah, I remember this program, Sunnyflare spoke. A way for talented people to make it to Crystal Prep if they don't have the necessary funds. There were quite a few of those. Yes, and my parents told her it would hang on my decision, since they believed me to be adult enough to make such a choice. I had a talk with Principal Cinch about facilities, curriculum, teachers, possibilities, and so on, and in the end, I agreed. The decision was easy because I didn't feel happy at my old school. No one liked smart ones there, and I was ridiculed over my love of reading. The boys even called me Four Eyes. Ugh. Us glasses-wearing people just can't catch a break, can we?
For a while.
At this tidbit, Applejack and Rainbow Dash looked as if they wanted to beat the snot out of those boys.
I wouldn't blame them.
That's so totally not cool, the prismatic hair girl said. I mean, I'm not into egg-headed stuff either, but doing that is just bad. Not to mention stupid. I had to ask the smartest ones for help several times when my grades were a problem. I had hoped that I would be more accepted at Crystal Prep, that there would be more people like me there, well, with excellent teachers and classrooms and all that jazz. Alas, while my accomplishments were well recognized by staff, my classmates didn't appreciate that at all, and no one wanted to be my friend either. Instead, people started resenting me. I heard teachers' pet hurl at me more often than there are cornflakes in a bag.
Yeah.
Interesting analogy.
Ugh. Kind of a bad one on top of that. Bad in the sense of, ugh. It's not even much different than our old high school living.
The Shadow Bolts looked embarrassed at that, having been party to those things before. What's worse, Twilight continued, many started pushing me around. Fearing retribution, since I know too well that crossing those money had bad consequences, I withdrew into a shell of a meek, shy girl, and dedicated my efforts on advancing my knowledge. On hearing about the Everton Independent Studies program, I realized that that was my dream. I threw all my strength and intelligence into achieving it, and I applied as soon as I was eligible to.
Eligible.
Twilight... Eligible. Twilight paused to take a few sips of her milkshake and continued. But before I was eligible, I had to endure the scorn and hate of my classmates every day. Initially, I thought they would pass. Try that again. Initially, I thought that would pass if they realized that I could be as good as them, and if I would make the school proud. Yet, months went on. I won one city academic contest after another. Crystal Prep became more prestigious than ever, and not a single smile or slap on the back or even a good job Twilight followed. The girl's hands tightened around her glasses as she relieved her old feelings of bitterness once again, and her lips tightened into a thin line. The only recognition I got was from the school administration, including Principal Cinch. And since my achievements bolstered her school's reputation a lot, she allowed me some leeway, like a private lab. When I heard about anomalous energy at Camelot High, it came quite in handy. Here was something unusual, something that challenged me for real. By that time, I had given up on my classmates, whom I privately started to call class foes, and focused only on Everton. By that time, however, my emotional defenses had worn down. I started to feel resentment in response for everything I got from my peers. And in that year, their treatment worsened, which only spurred on my resentment and slowly started twisting it into anger. Each push or snide comment or show of superiority fueled the anger, and soon I began to hate my classmates.
My theory is starting to show here.
Your theory?
Remember, the reason why Sideswipe became Midnight.
Midnight Sparkle.
Yes.
Flashback!
Whoa!
What? Twilight looked down the hall, seeing Crystal Prep students standing and or walking here and there as the school bell rang. Only one corridor before she could be safe within her lab, but she felt as if that would be her longest walk possible. This particular corridor was packed with people that tended to look down on her, either for her grades or not being one of their own inner circle. With a sigh, she went on, clinging her books to her chest as a shield. Almost immediately, she was bumped by some girl with green hair tied in a ponytail. "Excuse me," Twilight immediately apologized in her practiced voice, and as usual, her feelings of resentment rose within her. "Just twit! Still can't get over the head that I won up to her chemistry. She couldn't have sneaked off with her boyfriend and making one instead of studying. Why blame me if I won fair and square?" Damn.
That was her thoughts?
Yes. Another bump from behind, a girl with light violet hair and pursed lips. "Sorry." "Stupid bimbo. She's on the verge of flunking out, and she's still obsessed with her looks about everything else. She even went to plastic surgery clinic, succeeding only in making her face look like a mannequin. Even a mannequin would be smarter than her."
Jesus. Wait, that'd be kind of impossible. Plastic clinic surgery?
A plastic surgery clinic.
I mean, plastic surgery on someone as young as a high school student?
Again, there's a lot of grammar errors here, a lot of missing
well,
words.
the thing, it's not the grammar, it's just the idea of a young student trying to go for plastic surgery.
Good
it's
point.
kind of discouraging.
Using her refined evasion skills, she managed to avoid several other collisions before another bump revealed Fleur-de-Lis as the culprit. "Pardon me," Twilight squeaked so as to put herself even lower in Fleur's eyes and to avoid escalation of the conflict. Fleur came from a rich family and had more than enough possibilities to mess with those who crossed her. The best student of CPA hated her more than others. "Arrogant, self-obsessed, obnoxious bitch! Trotting around here like she owns the place, flaunting the riches of her family when she herself has done nothing! Money for brains, that one. I'd like to see how you'd scream if your family business went bankrupt tomorrow."
I had those exact thoughts on Paris Hilton.
The door to her lab couldn't be close to enough. "End of flashback!" Indigo Zap stared wide-eyed at her ex-classmate. "Ouch. Your mind didn't pull punches. And even I cannot disagree with it," Sugarcoat commented. "Insults aside, you managed to characterize them pretty well, Twilight." Sour Sweet reminded, "You do realize that we were also potential targets of her then vicious mind?" "The word potential is the odd one here now, Sour," Twilight spoke up. All the Shadow Bolts immediately looked at her. Lemon Zest even took her headphones off, which usually meant that the girl was in a deadly serious mood.
Oh, yes.
Well, she spoke unsuredly, how did you see us? Before we get to that, I must tell you about Principal Cinch. She summoned me into her office via Dean Cadence, and once I got there, making several more remarks about some other crystal preppers in a similar malevolent spirit, I entered her office only to find, to my surprise, that Shining Armor was there too. Turns out, Cinch asked him to come to persuade me into participating in the friendship games. I think it's obvious that I never wanted to compete, because I was focusing all my efforts on entering Everton, and once I pointed that out, Cinch asked him and Cadence to look for a contact sheet for her program, but in fact she had it in her desk. Applejack frowned. She lied? What for? So that she would have no witnesses for what would transpire next. She told me that her position allowed her to exert influence on cases like mine, and basically told me to compete against Camelot High, or she would have my application to Everton denied. What? And the indignant shout of others turned the attention of other customers to the girls.
Oh, blackmail. Ugh.
Mr. K called out, "Young ladies, I'm all for having you chat here, but please obey the noise regulation rules." "Okie dokie dokie, Mr. Cake, and we're sorry," Pinkie Pie shouted back. Mr. Cake and the others returned to their business, dismissing the outburst. Rainbow Dash growled, "Not cool."
Definitely.
Sunny Flare asked disbelievingly, "Did she seriously do that?" Applejack answered, "I would have caught on if Twilight lied, and I can tell pretty easily that Twilight ain't lying." That's... Ugh! I cannot find a good enough word for that. Princess Twilight tore at her hair, overwhelmed with indignation, not noticing that she stood up in her anger. "She threatened to ruin your educational advancement, your biggest dream that kept you going in a hostile atmosphere? That's... blasphemy?" Sunset buttoned in. "Not quite close, Sunset, not quite, Sunset, but close! How dare she?" The princess's counterpart spoke up. "Twilight, please stop. It's of no use to be outraged about it now." Shocked somewhat at her twin consoling her, the equine decided to calm down, although her face still showed the desire to banish Abacus Cinch to the moon for 1,000 years.
It worked for Luna.
I was about to say, have you been taking pages from Nightmare Moon or Celestia for that matter?
Well, she is her faithful student.
"Do you feel the same?" she asked Human Twilight. "Worse than that. You didn't have any obligations to her, and as far as I understood from your tales, you didn't experience the same bullying I did, and your version of Principal Celestia was certainly kinder." "Wait," Indigo Zap interrupted. "Principal Celestia also has a counterpart?" "Yes," Pony Twilight spoke up. "She and Luna are princesses back in Equestria, and Princess Celestia was my mentor. In fact, I was her protege." "To a certain extent, so was I," sighed Twi spoke again, "but only to the point that it advanced Crystal Prep's reputation. When I didn't want to compete for the school, I could barely relate to anyone, instead of preparing myself for the future. Principal Cinch put that future in jeopardy." Her hand started shaking, and she took a few gulps of her milkshake, ignoring the straw and leaving a blot on her face. Wiping it off with her palm, she continued, "Poor kid." I felt as if a dagger had been driven into my back, severing my spinal cord and leaving me paralyzed. When she said the word denied, my skull just got proverbially ventilated. I didn't know what to say. And I didn't want her to destroy my dream, so I agreed, but reluctantly. My first desire was to fight back, but how? I didn't carry any recording devices since they are forbidden. My cell phone was back in my lab, and it could be my word against hers, as there were no witnesses. She had me dead to rights, and I knew it, and I felt betrayed. Principal Cinch, She gave me a chance to push myself harder, to study in a school that didn't suffer from a lack of budget, that had access to the best equipment money could buy, and even if I didn't fit fully in, and despite my classmates disliking me, I was grateful to her for giving me a place in her school and not charging exorbitant sums for it. She never hindered my education, and she always recognized my efforts, along with the staff. So when she basically threatened to undermine what I dedicated my whole life to, the lavender-skinned human lowered her head, trying to hide tears that threatened to burst out. Noticing that all the rain booms drew her into a group hug, with Dinky somehow managing to hug everyone, the Shadow Bolt said awkwardly, not knowing what to say.
Keep going.
I can't believe it. For Principal Sinch to do this? Sunnyflower was struggling with her own emotions. Sugarcoat said, Twilight did not exhibit any non-verbal signs that would indicate her telling lies. As such, we have to accept her version of events. Besides, I'm surprised at your shock. Didn't you call her out as she tried to run away from Twilight when the latter unleashed the magic? I did, but still, this is too big of a shock to me. This is such a sad story, and I think it only gets worse! Sour Sweet spoke again. Jeez.
Well, I think it will.
Sour, that's kind of uncool. Lemon Zest tried to admonish her classmate. Oh, it did take a turn for the worse, Human Twilight spoke up. My feelings were in turmoil, and the stress that you five added did not help me in the slightest. That's when my hatred deepened. Not only did I begin to hate almost everything related to CPA after that, wanting nothing more than to leave that place forever and not look back, but I began wishing for something to give me power over everyone, so that I could shove it all into their faces and laugh as I exacted my revenge.
Well, well, well.
Ah, shit. I guess I owe you $10. Flashback! You could try the end of the line. What did you say? Just that someone as smart as you should definitely go first. Lying through her teeth, not daring to say that to my face. I hope that you eat something sour and that grimace gets stuck on your face forever. It certainly suits you better than your Tartar's damn fake smiles. Yeah. Are we gonna win? I don't know. It should be always said, not even you, that nothing is 100% guaranteed, or that all those footballs to your head bash your brains out. Logically, fallacious that statement is. I didn't even know that Indigo Zap played football.
Who knows?
Wrong answer. Try again. Are we gonna win? Oh, for the love of stars and black holes, why me of all people? Do you have some sort of perverse pleasure in doing this? And stop violating my personal space for Tartarus' sake. Yeah. I guess? It's just, I mean, I hear that Camelot High School is doing well right now, with their reputation, and I mean, it's not better than ours, of course. We can't let them do it, you know, win, I mean, right? Lang looks at everyone. What are you staring at? Try being in my position, and I will see how well you how well you fare. Oh wait, you all are wallflowers. You're gonna have to take a seat. Casting a glance at Indigo Zap, Twilight felt her anger burning. Maybe one day you'll break your back or have it broken for you for such an attitude. I'd like to see how you'll enjoy that. Jeez.
I feel this is not the end.
It isn't. That was a really bad speech. You should consider not speaking in public. You should consider the same! For someone who wants to be a politician, you woefully lack subtlety. One day someone might assassinate you for this, you know?
Well, we already have Donald Trump, and he's not being killed off right now, so...
And Lemon Zest. Dude, you gotta hear this! First, I am a girl, for Tartarus' sake. Second, I don't like heavy metal. And third, one day you'll be deaf and you won't be able to listen to your beloved music, and I will be laughing at you as you complain about not being able to listen to music. End of flashback. Damn.
Jesus, if only she's done it in actual public.
If only, but then we wouldn't have the friendship games. All the shadow bolts were looking at their ex-classmate as if she just grew a second head. Even the rain booms looked a bit uncomfortable at their newest friend's admissions. Sour Sweet, rubbing her dual personality facade of shock, spoke. Twilight, how? How could I, you want to ask? Yes? This didn't happen all of a sudden. These feelings were building for a reasonably long time. Initially, it was merely being stung a bit, then offended, then angry. And when Cinch pulled that stunt, the feelings of betrayal only fueled the flame that was already in there, turning it into a blazing inferno. What began as simple negative thoughts turned into a desire to see my offenders hurt after this. Maybe, but still... Stop it, Sour, Sugarcoat interrupted. Much as I am shocked by Twilight's admission, I can't deny that her feelings were not without reason. When such feelings gradually build up, sooner or later they overwhelm a person, and once that person had enough, their anger bursts out in their anger bursts out in a deed one would never believe they're incapable of. I believe Twilight was very close to snapping. That I was. Ugh. And for the third time, flashback!
Oh boy, let's see her mental anguish now.
Coming through! Tartarus, damn it, Zap! Maybe one day someone will push you like that and you'll crack your skull or something! That would be karmic justice! Seriously? Sunny Flare flattered on Twilight. Still bedazzled, Twilight could not mutter much aside from, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to." Are you blind? Maybe I should perform laser surgery on your eyes and accidentally burn them out! Oh, and here's the two-faced wrench. I think you mean winch. Whatever. Oh, sorry. Why don't you go ahead? Oh, you are such a sweetie. I'm watching you. Who the heck are you? Big brother, get lost. Jeez. Ah, yeah. Maybe someone should take your precious $250 headphones and smash them against the ground. I bet your face will be priceless. You're kind of being a doormat right now. What wouldn't I give to make you a doormat? Literally! End of flashback! My God.
I would love a picture of Sideswipe just to put to this.
I can only imagine someone will do it. Give it time. And apparently the chat has evolved into boobs.
No shit. What?
What the hell did I miss? Or what did we miss? What? Okay, moving on. And all this was bubbling up until Indigo Zap trailed off, rendered incapable of making a thought. The shyest, the meekest, the bookwormiest wallflower who never said a single word against them secretly wished to inflict serious pain and harm on them, or be subjected to said pain and harm. It was almost an oxymoron, and still she could plainly see that Twilight was not lying. No shit. Oh, it took some time. I received a reprieve each time when I managed to track magic, and during Akadeka, I was in my element. It allowed me to focus my mind on something else except my inner rage. Even if I didn't want to associate myself with CPA, I still relished the challenge. By the way, Sunset, you are a very good competitor. The last event almost made me lose. If not for some readings on less known trigonometrical methods, I would have lost to you. Wow. Thanks, Twilight. Sunset scratched her head. Eesh. But when I saw you being congratulated, receiving only dislike from my classmates again, I lost myself in my feelings of hurt and fury once more. I focused on my initial aims, looking after the rain booms, but got distracted out of seeing Fluttershy with her pets. Bonding with her over her mutual love for pets helped me to calm down a bit, but then she ponied up, my device absorbed her magic, and Spike started talking, and I ran away in fear. Sorry about that, Fluttershy. It wasn't good of me. It's fine, Twilight. I've forgiven you, the pink-haired girl smiled, making human Twilight smile in return. Aww.
At least we're trying to.
And then Cinch found me again, dropping another hint that she could still destroy my dreams, and I was lost again. And the Tricross Relay? Lemon asked. Oh yeah, that shit was nuts.
I didn't. I missed that. So
Well, whenever I received a glare or snide remark, I was rapidly losing confidence in myself, thinking that my dream was about to be shattered because Crystal Prep would lose the event. This wasn't a decisive event, of course, but it was all that consumed my mind. That and feeling my face hurt. If not for Applejack, hey, Twy, this didn't seem right to leave you like that, the farm girl spoke. Yeah, it could have been an easy victory, but that wouldn't be right. Could have risked getting some serious flack from other students. I don't care, and if you were brave enough to tell me that to my face, these hands can hurt pretty well, and where they can't, Big Mac can.
Apple Mafia.
Nope. So, I saved your biggest dream? Yep, except that it was starting to turn into a nightmare. I was losing control of my arcanum.
The magic thing.
The thingy, we'll call it that. And it was an arcanometer, and it was rapidly absorbing magic before I could stop it. And I didn't help matters by shouting at you. Sunset cast her head down. Oh boy. I've already forgiven you for that, Sunset, but yes, my morale was very low. Not because of you, not really, but because I realized that I was messing with something that really shouldn't be trifled with carelessly. However, Principal sent in other ideas. Oh dear. Here comes the part I was dreading. Twilight paused, drinking the last of her milkshake. Setting the glass against the table with stronger than necessary force, she continued. She saw the effects of the magic, but somehow missed the carnivorous plants and holes in space. She only saw she only saw pony ears and wings and decided that magic gave CHS an unfair advantage. She didn't see, or didn't want to see, that my device had already evened out the playing field. In her bid to ensure that Catalog would lose once again, she tried to force me to use it. I was reluctant, but she knew what buttons to push. She didn't know, however, that the scheme had been rewired, so to speak, and when the other Shadow Bolts joined the pressure... Flashback! Again.
Oh boy!
But you'd like to. And since our opponents have already used it to stay competitive, I see no reason why we shouldn't do the same. Unless, of course, you have no interest in Everton. Though honestly, I think there's more knowledge packed in that little device than any independent study program could offer. Yes, it's true I'd like to, but it's dangerous. Wait. Oh no, seriously? You're threatening me with that again? This project is my whole life. What'll I do if I deny that chance? Oh god, it's another voice. I think I know what voice this is. Wait. There's more knowledge packed in that device. Indeed there is. And knowledge is power! Really? Do you have to twist Schoolhouse Rock into something like that? And now they sing Unleash the Magic. Screw it, I'm not doing that.
Let's just skip to the Twilight Thoughts.
I wonder if that's because you blackmailed them and backstabbed them as well as me. But that won't matter once I fully understand this magic. This is going to be confusing since we're basically skipping the lyrics of Unleash the Magic to go to this.
Maybe I might delete this stream, and since XSplit saves the YouTube streams, I might just try to find a...
Splice it in?
I'll try.
Yeah, don't pressure yourself, it's alright.
I'll think about it, though.
When you're surrounded by idiots, of course it is. But I'll find a way to change that. Skip all this flippity doodah. Basically, it's a back and forth between Midnight and Midnight Sparkle on the pendant. I think we all get it. Right?
I think so.
As she thought, her magic-absorbing device flashed suddenly, vibrating slightly. It gave her a weird feeling as if the magic is calling out to me. I feel its power. End of flashback. This is getting real tense. Oh, my Celestia, Princess Twilight gasped. I get it now. The feelings of anger and resentment at your ex-classmates? They created a state within you that was similar to Sunset's. You both wanted the power of magic. Again, I owe Gonzo $10 for that. I did, Human Twilight responded. And I wanted to understand it, so I could use it to my own ends, and finally show them all who's the boss, as the saying goes. Oh, that you did! Sour Sweet said. If not for Santa and her friends, we would have been toast! And the cinch went on, and on, Lemon started. Yes, my feelings grew almost exponentially, evolving into what can retrospectively be called my inner demons.
Oh, we have a name drop of the fanfic we're reading.
Ever-present horror. You know what? Fuck this.
I won't. Mind if I take care of the Twilight then? If you're going to skip this.
No, fuck it. If the author wants to do this, I'm pulling up the Unleash the Magic metal cover I've got on me.
Don't worry. Actually, I'll just read the parts. We don't have to pull that up for now.
No. I want to do this accurately, so whatever.
Okay. We'll try.
Well, it's probably going to be confusing, but, whatever. Alright, pull it up. Alright. I think I had webcomic in on this, so do your thing.
Call it power, call it magic. If we lose it, will be tragic. More important is the knowledge we'll have lost.
You don't care about knowledge. You only care about losing your precious games. I care about this knowledge more than you can imagine. Shit. Oh, how right you don't know how right you are. I will seize this chance, and I will understand this magic, no matter what it will cost me. But you surely as talkers won't get anything, because this knowledge will be mine! Disclaimer, is that even coming in clear enough?
So far, so good.
My only interest is getting what I want, and I want to understand the magic to gain its power. But is this right? It's dangerous. It could seriously hurt anyone. I myself almost suffered a grim fate. And I want more than that, but it's not necessary for you to know. Ah, blah, blah, blah. I heard that jazz before.
What's her legacy anyway?
What?
What's her legacy anyway?
I don't fucking know. She's a bitch. She only cared about her reputation, so what do you fucking know?
I'm sorry.
What do I do? I can't refuse Principal Cinch. I can't go against my classmates. And I can't do it. You can. You have unlimited power in your hands, and it's all yours. You are the one who's holding it. Unleash the magic. Claim it as your own. But what if it'll lead to a disaster? All these people, they don't matter. What if people helped you? No one likes you for what you are. No one appreciates you. Even Cinch only wants to use you for her petty ends. You are a friendless, lone wallflower, but you can be much, much more than that. Rise above them all! And I'm gonna let webcomic do her thing, as this is what it segues into. Enjoy, my friends. Twilight! No!
And then,
Yes. I have waited so long to play that, but getting sidetracked.
yeah.
I think we get the point now. As the magic was unleashed, a gigantic energy blast dropped both Wonder Colts and Shadow Bolts to their knees, and then collapsed onto a sphere of arcane energy. As it rose, so did Twilight, and it began expanding, consuming her. Pain! Her nerves became inflamed with unbearable pain that readily surpassed even the pain of childbirth. By at least 3 orders of magnitude.
Ooh.
TMI?
More like, I think we've got the scaleness of how much pain that is.
Yeah. Finally, I have the power, and so do you. No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Fool! Now you have everything you wanted. You will be great. But this magic, it's painful. It doesn't feel right. It's something in me. It's as if something in me rejects it. This is your weakness. It must go. Ugh. As Twilight almost became absorbed, she realized to her horror just what exactly was going to happen. No! No! Turning around, she called out in desperation to her classmates. Surely even they would realize what's happening. Fool! What?
Let me guess, they didn't even bother?
Nope. Fool! I'm the one helping you, and you'll see it now! And then, as she was fully enveloped by the sphere, suddenly, magic. She felt knowledge ram into her head, spells, incantations, invocation rules, and rituals. She saw all that and more. Unprepared, she was unable to hold on to herself, and her inner demon seized the chance. Magic ran through her body. Her hair stood as if propped up by static electricity. Her clothes changed from a crystal prep uniform to a risque dress, like the one she had always imagined buying in the future.
No, that's one way to put it.
Dark and powerful wings appeared from her back. A horn, a real horn, grew from her forehead. And an aura appeared around her eyes, resembling her glasses, but more sinister and judging. You have changed. Now you are great. You are powerful. You are reborn. And you need a new name. I already thought of one, she responded. Opening her eyes, she looked around and realized that all these people standing below, they were but bugs. Henceforth I shall be known as Midnight Sparkle! End of flashback.
Okay, yeah, let's get back to the present. It's starting to get creepy and scary.
Fucking scary. Driving next Saturday further up the fucking wall. And you all know the rest already. Twilight Sparkle, ex-student of Bristol Prep, finished. Everyone sat in silence for what seemed like an eternity, but in reality it was only 3 minutes, until Sunny Flare finally managed to croak, That's... Excuse me, I'm gonna be sick! And she bolted out of the table, heading for the ladies' room. Me too! Lemon just abandoned her headphones under any circumstances. The other Shadow Bolts would have found that amusing, and followed suit. Ugh, Sour Sweet muttered. I think I should re-put the blame for this debacle from Principal Cinch onto us! Saying that, she banged her head against the table and remained in that position. I feel like the lowest piece of shit in the world. Ooh!
Finally, we get a curse word out of these.
Rarity gasped. Indigo Zap! Such language! Try and find me another word that would do justice to how I'm feeling right now, and I'll give you $100. 15 seconds later, Rarity was forced to concede defeat, and Sunny and Lemon returned from their trip. Sugarcoat! Sugarcoat! Everyone looked at the girl with opalish gray hair whose hands were trembling while crossed in front of her. Sugar? Inigo tried to jerk Sugarcoat into a response by using the latter's least favorite nickname, but as it usually happens in stories, even that method failed. Uh-oh. Oh dear, everybody brace yourselves.
Am I right?
I am such an idiot! This outburst startled almost everyone sitting at the table. How could I have not noticed this? My dad is a psychologist. I've been reading these books since childhood. It says everything about how to determine when a person is tormented, but I failed to see that it only exacerbated the situation.
Yeah,
Do I
because
have
you
to
don't give a shit.
do I have to say it again?
Aha! Yes, pay me, bitches!
Mm. Everyone looked surprised as Sugar Cole blamed herself right in front of everyone without a care in the world, going on and on. And I'm no better than a tartarus damned criminal, and oh my, I'm rambling again, aren't I? A chorus of affirmative, uh-huh, and it just told her everything. Jeez. Sugar Cole rubbed her nose. Twilight, words cannot express what utter shame I am feeling right now. I've always believed in ideals of Crystal Prep, of competitiveness and constant race, because I truly believed that it was an essential part of progress. But I forgot in my blindness that the Shadow Bolts are supposed to take care of each other, and you were a Shadow Bolt since Ed chose you to represent our school, and I didn't do that. None of us did. The other Shadow Bolts agreed with her. I know that we haven't been on friendly terms, but I should have recognized the signs of your imminent breakdown. Instead, I only exacerbated the situation and went along with the others, instead of saying, stop! And analyzing everything. In retrospect, I should have guessed what was going on in your mind because there were signs. Not obvious, mind you. You hid your feelings quite well, but they were there, and I ignored them.
Everybody has.
Yes, Justin, I guess I owe $30 to Gonzo now.
The donate button's on my Tumblr if you need it.
In surprise to everyone, Sugarcoat paused and took off her glasses, which she never did. When she looked into Human Twilight's own eyes, the latter noticed that without glasses, her blunt ex-classmate looked less stern and more like a scared deer caught in a car's lights. Damn. I don't expect you to just forget this, and I do think this will take time, but Twilight, can you ever forgive us for our admittedly very bad mistakes? And if you're okay with this, can we try to mend the bridges later? You aren't going to drag me back to Crystal Prep, are you? Stars forbid, Twilight! After what you just told us, even I feel hesitant to return there. No. How about visiting you at CHS one, or at least meeting at neutral grounds? Hmm? Given what led you to think... Excuse me, I skipped quite a bit. Human Twilight thought about this a little bit and then said, Sugarcoat, girls, I'm sorry too. I thought such bad things about you, and when I turned into that demoness thing, I was just ready to dispose of you like an insect. Ouch. Given what led you thinking this, Inigo Zap spoke up, I can't blame you. There's nothing to ask forgiveness for, if you ask me. But if you do need to hear this, we forgive you. Right, girls? She looked at the others with the words, "You better agree or else," written on her face, and others quickly heeded the advice. I understand, once Sansa gave me her hand of friendship. Excuse me, try that again. I understood, once Sansa gave me her hand of friendship, that hatred isn't the right way. Yeah, Shadowbolt spoke. So, yes, I forgive all of you, and I'm willing to try again. Just give me some time first while I have to CHS, okay? Very well, Twilight, Sunnyflare spoke, and thank you, she said with a smile, which was returned sheepishly. Pinkie Pie exclaimed with a gasp, oh my gosh, You know what this calls for?
Therapy?
Everyone expected the answer, the usual answer driftily, a group hug!
Ah, fuck. Again.
The sweet Pinkie drew everyone into a hug. How does she do this? Indigo Zap muttered. I thought you wanted to say party, Lemon spoke. You silly Citrus! The party is stage 2! We're on stage 1! Oh, alright, cool. Mr. and Mrs. Cake shook their heads at the scene, but paid no heed to it. The end. Quite a story, I'd say.
Quite.